What if the person controlling your life has never raised their voice, never made a threat, and never even realized you were following their lead? What if the strongest form of control is the one your brain mistakes for your own decision? Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strangely guilty, confused, or responsible without knowing why? Have you ever agreed to something you never wanted simply because saying no suddenly felt impossible? What if those moments were not accidents but invisible psychological patterns hiding in plain sight? Could someone be quietly shaping your emotions while appearing kind, calm, and completely harmless? By the end of this video, will you recognize the hidden behaviors that secretly control people every single day and discover why even highly intelligent individuals often fail to notice them until it is too late? The human mind is far easier to influence than most people are comfortable admitting. Most people imagine control as something loud, obvious, and aggressive. Psychology tells a very different story. The most powerful controllers rarely demand obedience because they quietly encourage you to choose exactly what they wanted all along. That is why they often appear trustworthy while everyone else wonders why they always seem to get their way. This hidden influence begins with one simple truth about human nature. People desperately want certainty, acceptance, and emotional safety. Anyone who understands those desires can slowly guide another person's thoughts without ever touching them. The frightening part is that your brain often welcomes this guidance because uncertainty feels emotionally exhausting. Have you noticed how some people always seem calm while everyone else becomes emotional around them? That calmness is not always wisdom because sometimes it is strategy. When one person controls their emotions while everyone else reacts emotionally, they quietly gain psychological leverage. The emotional person usually defends themselves while the calm person controls the direction of the conversation. This creates an invisible imbalance that feels almost impossible to detect in the moment. Another powerful technique is making you question your own memory. Instead of directly denying reality, subtle controllers ask small questions that slowly weaken your confidence. Are you sure that happened like that? Maybe you're remembering it differently. Could you be overthinking everything again? These simple phrases sound harmless, yet repeated often enough they slowly teach your brain to doubt itself. Once self-doubt becomes a habit, outside influence becomes much easier. This is why confidence is one of the greatest defenses against manipulation. Another hidden strategy is creating emotional dependency. Some people become your biggest source of validation before quietly becoming your biggest source of insecurity. At first, they make you feel uniquely understood. Later, they make you feel as though only they truly understand you. Without realizing it, your emotional stability begins depending on their approval. The moment your happiness depends on someone else's opinion, control has already entered the relationship. Perhaps the most fascinating psychological weapon is selective attention. Controllers understand that people believe whatever receives the most emotional focus. Instead of changing reality, they simply change what you notice. They highlight one mistake while ignoring 20 successes. They emphasize one criticism while hiding every compliment. Eventually, your own brain starts filtering reality exactly the same way they do. The world has not changed, but your perception certainly has. This is why perception often becomes more powerful than facts. Here is something even more surprising. Many people who secretly control others do not believe they are manipulative at all. Some genuinely think they are protecting people, helping them, or simply being honest. Psychology shows that self-justification allows almost anyone to believe their behavior is morally acceptable. That makes manipulation even more dangerous because unconscious manipulation is often harder to recognize than deliberate manipulation. Have you ever wondered why intelligent people sometimes remain trapped inside controlling relationships? Intelligence does not eliminate emotional needs. Brilliant minds still crave belonging, certainty, and love. In fact, highly analytical people sometimes overanalyze obvious warning signs because they search for logical explanations instead of trusting emotional instincts. They convince themselves there must be a reasonable explanation for unreasonable behavior. That search for logic can quietly become its own psychological trap. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss another mind-blowing psychology video. Now let us explore one of the most invisible forms of control that almost everyone experiences. Silence itself can become a psychological weapon. Healthy silence creates peace and reflection. Strategic silence creates anxiety and uncertainty. Some people intentionally delay responses, withhold affection, or disappear without explanation. Your brain naturally begins searching for answers because uncertainty activates emotional discomfort. Instead of questioning their behavior, you begin questioning your own. That is exactly where psychological control becomes strongest. The more confused you become, the more emotional energy you invest trying to fix the relationship. Another hidden pattern involves making small requests before asking for much larger ones. Psychologists call this gradual commitment because people prefer remaining consistent with previous decisions. Once you agree to something small, saying no later feels psychologically uncomfortable. Each tiny agreement quietly builds momentum until you accept situations you once promised yourself you would never tolerate. This happens in friendships, workplaces, families, and romantic relationships every single day. The most effective controllers rarely rush because patience often creates deeper influence than pressure. Fear also plays a surprisingly powerful role. Not fear of physical danger, but fear of rejection, loneliness, embarrassment, or disappointing someone important. These invisible fears quietly shape countless decisions. The remarkable part is that most people never realize fear was influencing them at all. They believe they freely chose something when their emotions had already chosen for them. Awareness changes everything. The moment you recognize emotional patterns, they begin losing their power. Control depends on unconscious habits. Conscious observation interrupts those habits. Instead of reacting automatically, you begin responding intentionally. Instead of seeking approval, you begin respecting your own judgment. Instead of fearing uncomfortable conversations, you begin welcoming honest boundaries. Healthy boundaries are not walls because they are psychological filters that protect your emotional freedom. People who secretly control others often become uncomfortable when boundaries appear because invisible influence works best without resistance. This is why your calm confidence is more powerful than endless arguments. You do not need to prove yourself to everyone. You simply need enough self-awareness to recognize when your emotions are being quietly redirected. The greatest psychological freedom comes from understanding your own mind before someone else learns how to use it against you. The strongest people are not those who dominate everyone around them. The strongest people are those who recognize manipulation without becoming manipulative themselves. Real power is not controlling another person's choices, but protecting your own. The next time someone leaves you feeling guilty, confused, emotionally dependent, or strangely uncertain, will you pause long enough to ask who is truly guiding your thoughts? Because sometimes the most dangerous control is the one that never feels like control at all. And once you learn to see these invisible patterns, you may never look at everyday conversations the same way again. Thanks for watching. Wait for the next video.